From the creators of Mercury Theater Podcast comes Universe 25. Listeners' discretion is advised. Previously on Universe 25.
We have everything we need.
The document you and Nicholas found was an invaluable artifact. It is going to change the course of history.
Calland is the very first civilization that we know of to have been created subsurface.
We've had several people explore the surface, and they would always come back sick.
We just had no idea there was a potentially inhabitable surface.
No, that isn't the case. You'll remember the Treaty of Fields was a citywide agreement that violence was strictly forbidden under any circumstance.
There appears to have been a major historical find.
This is Founder-era shit.
Ideally, they would be able to quell the resistance peacefully, but they could turn to more drastic measures.
Between myself and the 9 others, we rule all of the residents of Calland.
Nicholas.
Dawkins, I suggest we not make this situation any more fragile than it already is. You're the key to the city's advancement.
I didn't realize Calland needed saving.
It most certainly does.
Things are about to change around here, and the governor has advised me that I need you to help me.
You clearly need to get back on your dailies.
Are you ready to change the course of history?
Isn't marriage and slavery synonymous?
You seem to be under the impression that we should follow the guidelines of ancient peoples.
Here I am trying to deny my own position by dissolving the government.
I am finally signing off today's news as I inform you that I will no longer be speaking to you through your screens anymore. Not as an anchor.
We have followers willing to die for the Chiesa. The governors are going to evict anyone who chooses to benefit the Chiesa in some manner.
We can't afford to be naive and idealistic.
So what if it was the governor's idea?
Now you're forcing people out of their homes and to live in an uninhabitable land.
This is all for the greater good of Calland.
If we're going to sell it, we need to do it with choice. Good morning, Professor. I'm glad you feel comfortable enough asking to see me, despite the short notice.
Thank you for that, by the by. I'd like to think that you and I have grown quite close these last few years.
For sure.
Listen, and I mean this to my very core. You are a very influential person in today's society. Influential like nobody but the few of you in the Chiesa has had in centuries.
I know.
I'm not so certain that you do. People trust you. I'd hate to see that influence like that either squandered or used to gain what you shouldn't have. Your friend Nicholas has become so engulfed by power that I'm not sure he's capable of humility anymore.
I don't think he ever was.
That's partially my point. You're a smart man, Ares. You truly are. Nicholas is too, but you haven't given me the impression that you care too much for power.
I don't.
And that's good. Keep it that way. Power becomes like a cancer that eats you from the inside out. Once you have it, it spreads, and eventually it grows and grows. Eventually it kills you. I implore you to try to convince Nicholas of the same. He has shown a disdain for me, and I think it's been at the hands of Governor Irmgard that he's been poisoned against me.
She does not care much for you.
Nor I for her.
Is there something we should know?
Chapter 4. Overpopulation.
It has come to our attention that in the upcoming month, you will all be evicted should you show any sign of having been associated with the Chiesa.
It's a tragic situation, yes. Every last one of you is familiar with having 4 walls, a bed to sleep on, and food. Next month, the governors will push you from your homes that you have lived in for years, decades even.
We're not going to stand idly by while you lose everything that you have.
If you choose to stay with the Chiesa, you will be safe. We have begun constructing our own community in the Treaty Fields. There, we will have everything we need and no more. We will learn how to work side by side, just as the founders did. They toiled in the dirt and farmed the land. Together, we can live outside of the metropolis that is Calland and have a place we can truly call our own.
This place will be called Prosperity. After we have lived lives in need of nothing,
I think it could be kind of fun.
that we live life to the fullest.
What could be?
Prospering together.
Having a farm, we would get to get our hands all dirty, have some animals, collect some eggs.
Then realize that the faithful followers
I don't know.
will be like the founders.
I may actually
Toiled to
enjoy it.
make Calland
I have my doubts.
prosperity will
You don't
be
have to be
what
a
Calland
spoiled
was
sport, you
supposed
know.
to be.
I know. I'm just saying I'm not as optimistic about this as you
Will
are.
be a setback at
Obviously.
first, but we can work side by side.
Together.
Aries,
Yeah?
I need you to do me a favor and talk to Helen on air for the Calland updates.
They don't want you?
They do, but the governors don't. The governors think you're the voice of reason out here.
I don't do.
You don't do public speaking, I get it.
I've never liked it. You know that. Why don't you get Armguard or Joyce? They're far better in public than I am.
Great options, excellent options even, but I'm not asking them. I'm asking my best friend, Aries. We finally have the ability to take the opportunity the governors are giving us to spread the information we have.
Which is.
Should I leave you two alone again?
I'm sure you're just as curious as I am to know what Nicholas thinks we're doing with the Chiesa, right?
It looks like you two have this handled. I mean, yes?
Tell you what, you agree to go see Helen at the studio and tell them everything I tell you. You won't have the burden of having to come up with anything flashy. I'll be in your ear the whole time. You'll be more like the mouthpiece.
Before we continue, I would like to make sure I'm addressing you correctly. How do you like to be addressed?
I'm glad you asked, Helen. Thank you. You can still call me Aries. We haven't quite put titles to our positions. How are you this afternoon?
I'm terrific. It's so good to finally have you in studio again. I remember when you would visit when our former colleague Nicholas would sit in that very chair. You would often visit the studio.
I would. Boy, haven't things changed since then.
They sure have, Aries. They sure have. So, I invited you here today to discuss the Chiesa. Do you know that there are many citizens in Calland who still don't know what the Chiesa even is?
Hard to believe, isn't it, Helen? So, what do you want to know?
Everything. How did it begin, and how did you get to where you are now?
I'm always delighted to discuss this. I didn't get to become a founding member by not being excited about it. Let's see. Well, a few years ago, my best friend from childhood, Nicholas, went into a cave and found a book. Like the really old ones with wood paper. Little did we know, that book changed the course of history. That book had been written by the founders 1,000 years ago. We realized it was a map to how they wanted Calland to grow, both geographically and governmentally.
Fascinating.
Oh, it is. We tried to spread the message the book had, but the governors found out and tried to silence us. Nicholas used to be of the active community, but his livelihood had to be cut off.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
If I recall correctly, Nicholas resigned his position here.
Yes, you are not wrong about that. In all fairness, though, Nicholas was given an ultimatum by the governors to either stay in the studio or to pursue the, and I quote, nonsense. Let's just say his nonsense is why you and I are sitting here talking about him and the Chiesa today.
Of course. Again, I apologize for the interruption. I was just reminded by the producer of how he left. We should move on. Where were we?
No problem at all, Helen. You're just doing your job. I understand. While Nicholas had to resign his post, I was just a non-active, and excuse me, I was a non-active, and sorry, I was a non-active. Aside from my private life, I haven't lost anything, but Nicholas sacrificed everything to take the lead with the Chiesa.
I've heard rumors that some members have been moving out to the treaty field. Can you confirm this rumor?
I can only tell you what I know, but I have heard the same rumors. As it stands, I still live in my flat, as does everyone I know live in their respective flats. Understandably, Nicholas lives with me in the meantime.
In the meantime? Until when?
I apologize. I spoke out of turn. He lives with me. The governors do not provide a flat for those who leave their active positions. Ironically, Nicholas doesn't even have the basic income that I do. On my meager rations, I find myself sharing with him. It seems like it would be forever provided.
We're off the air. The governor's forced a shutdown.
Of course they did. Nicholas, I'll see you back at the flat. Why'd they cut us off?
The governor said you weren't to be aired anymore either. As long as I'm here, you're no longer allowed in studio going forward. We love Nicholas when he sat at that chair, but he's taking people off the map. It isn't healthy. Just between us, you and the Chiesa should cut your losses now and accept you wasted the last couple of years of your life for a pointless cause.
I'll take that into consideration, jackass.
What happened?
They cut us off.
I've never seen that happen before.
I only saw it once. Those governors are on a power trip, I tell you.
If we had a way to communicate with all of Calland, do you think we'd let the governors tell their side of the story?
No. Why would we? They have their own method of doing that.
That's my point. They don't want to have us convert anyone else to the Chiesa.
Because they'd lose control over them.
And you're not worried that we'll ever lose control over our people?
We don't control people. You don't see us force-feeding our members with a mind control pill, do you?
They're practically eating out of your hand regardless.
It's stuffy in here. Is it stuffy in here?
I know where this is going.
No. If you want, you can leave.
I have a better idea. We should leave. Come on, I have something to show you. And check this place out. They're building the first Chiesa meeting house. And right beside it is none other than our place.
You're acting like a kid in a candy shop. I haven't seen you so giddy about anything in a very long time.
Aries! It's finally happening. We've been working years to this goal and it's finally happening.
Finally.
Yes. Excuse me while I get excited about stuff happening finally.
You said our place?
Of course. It'll be tight living spaces to begin with, but we'll make do. But it's for the Chiesa's leadership, and in a couple days, Joyce will knight us.
We'll be knights?
Not really, but we don't have titles for our roles. The Governor and Justice Joyce have a surprise for us in a few days. Pretty sure we'll get titles.
But you're not sure?
No. But whatever it is, it'll be a night to remember.
Get your hands off of her!
Show some mercy! Please! We have nowhere to go! Oh my, please show mercy! Please!
Let's remember to say it right! You're not even supposed to go now! You can't do this!
Nowhere else to go.
It's helping. Why can't you take my home away from me?
My son! Where are we supposed to go now?
You can't do this! You can't do this! You can't take my home away from me!
This is not my home!
You're my
I'll take
life.
one life.
It wasn't supposed to be like that!
I know. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry to me. Be sorry to the ones who thought they were safe. Do you know there are people outside who never even contemplated joining the Chiesa? They were forced out of their homes by some sort of militia the governors assembled just for this.
I know. This is all my fault.
God, I hate that I'm feeling bad for you. It was mostly your fault. You are mostly to blame. But I was aware this was happening just as much as you were. We let this happen. We should have quit years ago.
I wish I never found that tunnel.
Me too, Nicholas. Me too. But we can sit here and wallow in self-pity, or we can deal with the situation as it was handed to us.
It's the governor's fault.
No. She has a percentage of fault.
No. All of them.
But it was Governor Irmgard who initiated this.
But she's only one of 10. She's not that powerful. She was set up to do this. She only told me because her hand was forced.
Nicholas, you don't know that.
I do. The governors have declared war on the Chiesa.
Nicholas, no. Take a breath. Breathe. We're not at war. We're being punished for disregarding the laws of Calland. Your followers trusted you and left all inhibitions aside and then got the ramifications. You still have a chance to return everyone to the ways we used to live.
We're in too deep. People have lost everything. Their active statuses, they've lost their homes, all because the governors couldn't stand to accept the direction the founders meant Calland to go.
I think you're twisting the story.
No, Ares. I don't think so. I wasn't the one who threw innocent residents out of their homes. I wasn't the one who forced them to poverty. That wasn't me. That was the governors. They must pay for their deeds.
Fuck.
Welcome, everyone. Please, come, get comfortable. Get seated anywhere that you can find a spot. Everyone, thank you for coming tonight. This is a very happy occasion, marked by the awful events that took place earlier this week. But today, if we can all join in today's festivities, our descendants will look back at today not as one in time of trouble, but as one of thanksgiving. Today, I would like to present to you two people with whom you are already very familiar, Nicholas and Ares. We also have someone you have probably heard of but didn't know was behind the Chiesa's curtain, Governor Irmgard. Now, I empathize with your disdain of the governorship. The governors destroyed everything you loved and tossed you out here. You are without homes because the governors took them from you. Many of you spent your entire lives in those homes. Gone. And Governor Irmgard has fought on your behalf the entire way. She wanted what was best for you, but the other governors denied you that. Governor Irmgard is not your enemy, but your ally.
Joyce, thank you. This disruption that happened to each of you is an atrocity. I ache for each one of you. I adamantly opposed the evictions, but with every other governor voting me down, I found myself powerless. I lost all hope in the system as it stands. I am hereby resigning my position as one of the 10 governors. I am truly sorry for my inability to act, and this is why I will no longer be a governor of Calland.
I'm speechless,
I understand. I'm speechless too. I just couldn't take it anymore, and being powerless. I left the governorship because I had no power and made no difference. Here is home. Here is where I can make a difference. And here is where we can all make a difference.
Everyone, I would like to bring your focus to Ares. As you may not have noticed, Ares has been at Nicholas's right hand for all these years. Together, they found the document that we know and cherish today. He isn't much for the spotlight, as he prefers to advise rather than lead. Ares, we have decided to christen you the Sovereign Right. If you accept this designation, say, I do.
I do.
Congratulations! And Nicholas, having found the document and leading the Chiesa to this point, we would like for you to continue leading us, but no more as Nicholas, but as First Father. If you accept this designation, say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. And everyone, thank you so much.
Hold on, Joyce. Hold on. I think we have a little something for you, too. Joyce was slated to become Calland's next governor. You may remember her as the city auditor. She gave up her eventual title to join the Chiesa. She has made herself an integral part of our organization, and as First Father, my first inaugural action, I hereby christen Joyce Justice Joyce. If you accept this designation, say I do.
I do. Thank you.
Furthermore, there is one more individual who has done much more than anyone will truly ever know. Governor Ermengarde. While you booed her not minutes ago, she is why the Chiesa was ever made possible. Governor, or no longer Governor Ermengarde. As first father, I christen you Honorable Ermengarde. If you accept this designation, say I do.
I do.
Professor.
I just wanted to stop by and let you know that I'm leaving.
What? Why?
Haven't you been paying attention? Your followers got evicted on Monday, and you're having a celebration on Wednesday. It's unconscionable.
When you summarize it so poorly like that, I could see why you'd be leaving, but that's by no means what happened.
I don't know about you, Ares, but I've been here the entire time. I know what has happened, and I can easily predict what will happen. I don't see anything positive coming out of your so-called Chiesa. Besides, you're no longer holding true to the document you seemingly love so much. Haven't you noticed Nicholas making up passages out of whole cloth? What else are you two even doing anymore? If you keep this up, you'll start a theocracy.
I don't understand.
Must I explain every four-syllable word? It's a government ruled by some divine commission.
Don't patronize me, I know that, but I don't see any divine commission anywhere, do you?
What do you think these founders are to your Chiesa? You treat them like they were some ancient gods deserving of worship. I'm going to tell you, Ares, the founders had some good plans, and they also had some very stupid plans. Look back to your precious document. You'll see that Dr. Calhoun vehemently opposed all sorts of religion. He knew they would eventually divide the people of Calland, and another war would eventually ensue. You're a smart kid, Ares, but you're fucking up. You're sitting back and watching while Nicholas fucks up all of Calland.
Professor, you don't understand. You don't hear the conversations between Nicholas and me. I've done everything I can to guide and support.
You support him? Then you're just as liable, Ares. Think hard about whether or not you have ever been able to guide Nicholas somewhere he wasn't already going. I take it we both already know the answer. If you can't figure out how to stop this, to stop him, then you owe it to yourself to leave. I'm leaving. I should have left long ago.
Don't leave. We count on your wisdom all the time.
When is the last time you sought my counsel? Or dare I say heeded it? You should sleep with one eye open. Nicholas is bad news. And if you don't lock step with him, you may find yourself getting removed altogether.
Stay tuned for sneak previews for next week's episode of Universe 25. Universe 25 was written, directed, and sound designed by John S. Batcher. Written in collaboration with Alvin Lai and Nathan Woltering. Vocal talents for today's episode by
Maximilian Koger as Ares.
Danny Schuster as Nicholas.
Destiny Patterson as Leona.
Tom Harrison is the professor.
Rebecca Boyce as Ermengarde.
Rachel Adams as Joyce.
and by
Shannon McCurley as Helen.
Casting assistance by Chad Bell. Post-production assistance by S.B. Rupert. And for the intro and outro narration, I'm Richard Braddock. Visit our website, universe25pod.com, for more information, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram for behind-the-scenes content. If you enjoyed this, please consider rating and reviewing this show on your podcast platform of choice. The Universe 25 theme music, Two to Tango, was created by Joe Blankenberg and used with permission by Position Music. Next week on Universe 25.
The phrase, forever provided, has made a surge in popularity.
Do you see poverty? I don't. I see hope. I see happiness. It isn't about me. It's not about you. It's about them.
You're not important. You're a likable face.
The Chiesa is tearing us apart.
Nicholas. Nicholas!
Now what? John Badger here again to thank you for listening to Universe 25. If you're interested in hearing more audio dramas, go check out Mercury Theater Podcast, our other audio drama. I even interviewed a few other producers from great audio dramas you should check out. Also, I'm announcing our Patreon page. If you think this production is worth a few bucks, go to universe25pod.com/support to find our Patreon page and support the show. When we get to 30 supporters of any level, we'll start planning a season 2. You know, if this show was too good not to have a season 2. This entire production is only made possible through donations, and if you can't support us financially, would you rate and review our show on your podcast platform? That would help us out tremendously. Oh, and one last thing. You have the most beautiful smile. Yeah, that one.